98-year-old Paul Harris and his 88-year-old wife Clara attend church faithfully every Sunday morning, even though they never leave their senior living apartment in suburban Dallas.
It saves me an awful lot of physical effort, which is very difficult for me. My legs don't work well, so it's just better for me to stay home.
Now, instead of packing his walker into their car and driving to church, Paul and Clara take a few steps to their second bedroom, and it becomes their sanctuary after a few taps on the keyboard and clicks of a mouse.
It has a place to say, who you are and how many people are watching with you, and ask if you're a member or a visitor, and then it just gets you in.
The Harrises are longtime members at Highland Park United Methodist Church in Dallas, and for the last several years, technology has made it easier for the aging couple to worship with live streaming.
We're not technology adept, but no, I don't think we bothered about it. We already had a computer and knew a little bit about that.
The Harrises would much rather be singing in the choir and praying from one of these pews where they worshiped for a combined 140 years. But at this stage in their lives, streaming is the next best thing.
You miss your friends that you had there.
Mm-hmm. But you still have the feel of being at church.
That feeling of being at church has never been so real, because even though services have been beamed into homes for decades through radio and television, many were taped and edited. Live streaming is a whole new game. The services are unfiltered, including mistakes, as are all the other church announcements in business. What's making it so popular? Technology. What was once difficult and costly has become easy and inexpensive.
We're looking at the popularity of Facebook Live and Snapchat and Periscope. So churches want to be there where they can reach people.
DJ Chong is a consultant and leading expert on social media, the internet, and the church. We interviewed him from his home in California via Skype.
Back in 2007, I identified 5 churches that were doing church services online, and that grew to 105 in the span of 5 years.
And the list keeps growing. Some churches put an iPhone on a tripod. Others, like the church in Dallas, have more sophisticated equipment, cameras, computers, and consoles. And they aren't just streaming to seniors who have difficulty showing up in person. Their audience also includes people who travel, like Dell and Cammie Wynn Williams. They were vacationing with their 2 daughters in Israel one Christmas Eve and wanted to go to church. Streaming gave them the option of attending in person in Israel or worshiping live with their church back home.
Our younger daughter and I decided that we would go to the 11:30 service at a Scottish church down the hill from the King David Hotel where we're staying.
We were some of the only Christians actually staying in the hotel at the time. And we wanted to be respectful of our environment. And so we closed ourselves off in the business office and snuck to watch our Christian service back here.
And it seems live streaming is also becoming more mainstream for a lot of people with busy lives, like Paul and Jennifer DeRamo, 2 medical doctors who work long hours and many weekends. They logged on during a recent medical mission trip to Peru, and more frequently while working their shifts at separate hospitals in the Dallas area.
We feel very blessed that we have the opportunity to be able to keep up with a church family and be a member of a church body and be a fully participating member, even with the schedule that we have.
This new technology is opening a lot of doors, but church leaders are grappling with some important issues as they try to duplicate the worship experience online. For example, how do you handle communion? And what do you say to someone who wants to join the church but has no intention of ever showing up in person? These are just a few of the hurdles Reverend Paul Rasmussen, senior minister at Highland Park United Methodist Church, has faced from the more traditional thinking church leaders and parishioners who have been slow to fully embrace this new way to worship.
Communion, where we're going to participate in the body and blood, and the liturgical act of consecrating elements of bread and wine or juice, and then sharing those physically. How do you do that with somebody that's watching with you online from Seattle or Austin or China? We really haven't solved that problem yet.
He has floated the idea of self-service communion, but ran into heavy criticism from those who fear it would violate the integrity of the sacrament. There are also serious questions about church membership. When people seek to join, they promise to support the church with their prayers, gifts, service, and presence.
How do you honor your presence and even your service, really, if you're far away? What does that mean? When we came up with those standards, we were not ever anticipating the day where people would be participating with us with their presence behind a computer terminal.
But it seems the benefits outweigh the challenges. At a time when statistics show church attendance shrinking, ministers see this technology as a way to not only better serve their members, but also reach a new and wider audience. People from all over the world are now able to attend the Church of England by live streaming because of a one-year project with Twitter UK. Officials say hundreds show up every week. One Sunday, there was a huge spike in traffic with 3,000 people participating across 3 worship services. And those people from all over the world are able to engage in these virtual services in meaningful ways. It's not just a passive experience. Both in the U.S. and across the pond, church leaders are finding creative ways to get online members more connected.
Churches that do online services will have a chat room on the side or note-taking functions. There's even one church in South Carolina that will allow you to light a virtual candle by clicking on a button to make the worship experience more interactive and participatory.
This new technology might break away from tradition, but Pastor Rasmussen says the early data is encouraging.
People can engage in dialogue and real-time discussion of the sermon far easier online than they can even in-house.
Parishioners can then immediately share what inspires them with friends on social media, creating a ripple effect far beyond the actual service. Like anything new, there are growing pains, and live streaming church isn't a replacement for 4 walls and in-person fellowship, at least for now. It is, however, filling a void in more ways than one for parishioners who are unable to attend church in person.
I think long term, we'd like to be able to go to church and be active in as many small groups as possible. And I think for right now, at least, in the last 3 years, just being able to stream online and being able to participate online has given us a place in the church, but
that we can grow from.
Yeah.
And for seniors like the Harrises, it's a lifeline to the spiritual enrichment they have treasured for decades.
Streaming by far beats nothing. Not going at all, not having anything. And I can sit here and stay with my church.
For Religion and Ethics News Weekly, I'm Dan Lothian in Dallas.